It's Friday, the 15th of December 2023. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Adam Lang.
Good morning, Michael.
Adam, we've got 5 stories to get through in 5 minutes, so we better get going. Story number 1's a big one. The unemployment rate in Australia has hit a 17-month high, even as the number of jobs in the economy actually soared last month.
That's right, Michael. And even though the unemployment rate came in at 3.9% and the October figure was revised up to 3.8%, these numbers are still very good historically. There was a 61,000 jump in jobs, including 57,000 full-time jobs.
Okay, you're going to have to explain this one, Adam, how the unemployment rate goes up, yet there was actually more jobs created.
Okay, well, the Australian Bureau of Statistics said there's been both high population growth and jobs growth in recent months, and that's enough to push up both. It's also pushed up the number of unemployed people, which is up 81,000 over the past year. The employment to population ratio hit a record high of 64.6% last month, while the participation rate hit a record 67.2%. The job market is cooling, but certainly there's still plenty of positions available, so it's a pretty good outcome overall.
Now, the unemployment rate is obviously something that the Reserve Bank watches closely when they're considering interest rates. What does this mean for interest rates, Adam?
Well, there was plenty of information to put into the interest rate equation over the past 24 hours. The employment data is the last significant piece of economic information for 2023, and it shows the job market is just easing up a bit now, which is what the Reserve Bank has wanted and is what should happen given we've had 14 interest rate rises. The next really important ABS number is the December quarter inflation number, and that comes in late January. The other important piece of the jigsaw puzzle over the past 24 hours was the US Federal Reserve's decision to indicate that rates in the world's biggest economy might fall next year.
Yeah, big story. On to story number 2. The United States, Adam, has asked Australia to send a warship to the Red Sea amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East, where fighting between Israel and Hamas just shows no sign of letting up.
That's right, Michael. The request came from the US Navy, which wants the vessel to join an international task force following an increase in attacks on ships by Iran-backed militia trying to disrupt supplies. Treasurer Jim Chalmers said the Australian government already contributed to maritime security in that often dangerous part of the world. He said the usual practice is for the Defence Minister to consider it and make a recommendation. The US has begun speaking to at least 12 allies and partners about the peacekeeping mission, bolstering the American presence in the region amid concerns of a wider regional war.
All right, moving on to story number 3 now. And James Packer has built an $80 million stake in Paramount Global, which is, of course, the American media and entertainment conglomerate that owns Network 10, signalling a broadening of the billionaire's media interests.
That's right, Michael. Mr. Packer returned to the world of media earlier this year after several years' absence when he emerged as a key multi-million-dollar investor in embattled broadcaster Alan Jones' Australian Digital Holdings. He's previously been an owner of 10. In 2010, he bought an 18% stake in the network for $244 million, later selling half of that to Lachlan Murdoch. The network was then placed into administration in 2017 and bought by US studio CBS, which would subsequently shift into Paramount after a merger.
Story number 4 is the scale of this is just quite significant. Tesla is going to recall and fix more than 2 million vehicles. That's its biggest recall ever after the top US auto safety regulator determined that its driver assistance system, Autopilot, doesn't actually do enough to guard against misuse.
2 million recall and fixed vehicles, Michael. That's a staggering number, and it's the result of a years-long defect investigation that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration will keep open to monitor the efficacy of Tesla's fixes. An NHTSA spokesperson said the probe found that Tesla's means for keeping drivers engaged were inadequate. It said automated technology holds great promise for improving safety, but only when deployed responsibly. The recall is the second this year involving Tesla's automated driving systems, which have come under escalating scrutiny after hundreds of crashes, some of which resulted in fatalities.
All right, last story. Story number 5. Netflix has for the first time released comprehensive data on what people are watching in the first of a regular report promised by the streaming giant.
That's right, Michael. The political thriller The Night Agent was the most watched title globally in the first half of 2023. And get this, it generated 812 million hours of viewing, and that's according to a report on Bloomberg. That was followed by season 2 of the family drama Ginny and Georgia and the debut of South Korean series The Glory. Ginny and Georgia delivered the biggest audience if you consider all seasons of a show, and the disclosure by Netflix, the most detailed ever for any streaming service, follows a months-long fight between Hollywood labour unions and major studios. In the wake of 2 strikes, writers and actors won more compensation for their work in streaming, and their pay hinges in part on greater disclosure of US viewer data by services like Netflix.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Friday, the 15th of December 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough for you, you can always find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.